All-Star Shore is the new reality show coming to Paramount Plus this Wednesday. Some of the biggest stars in reality TV on both sides of the pond are going to be there. We've got Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise favorite Blake Horstmann here to chat all about it. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And you're right, both sides of the pond. I love that. I'm going to use that.
Because you've got stars from some of the UK shows. You've got some stars from American shows and Latin America. Is it easier or harder to compete when not everybody knows who you are and you don't know everybody's background?
Honestly, actually, I enjoyed it. I think it was easier maybe. There was no, I wasn't like intimidated by anybody or anything like that. But there definitely was obviously, a lot of cultural diversity. And in fact, most of the times we had to like translate some of the rules for certain people. So that made it a little difficult at times because there's a lot of confusion about the rules of the competitions and things like that.
Is it easier to compete for a prize versus love? I mean, you've done both kind of shows. Tell me, is it easier, harder? Do you use the same strategies?
That is such a good question. No, I really didn't actually. As far as this All-Star Shore show, when it came to the competitions, pretty cutthroat. It really was. It was very cutthroat. Like there was no ill feelings afterwards, but during the game, we were pretty intense. And as far as on Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise, it wasn't quite that bad. But like you said, I've done both, and I definitely enjoyed just the competition aspect of it and on All-Star Shore than Paradise and Bachelorette.
Joey Essex, let's talk a little bit about him. One of the biggest reality stars in the UK. What did you learn about him and maybe some techniques that he used? And he's so popular, overseas, but maybe people in America may not know who he is.
Yeah, so it's so funny because when we're on the show, you kind of hear about people and you hear about what they've done, how many shows they've done. Some of these people have done so many shows compared to me. But then you get off the show, right? And then you start talking to people and you're like, oh, you hung out with Joey Essex and like things like that. And the first thing I'll say about Joey is like, he is a very funny guy, and he's very, very smart. So when it came to the strategy of the games, he was good. He was very, very good. But I love Joey, big Joey fan. He's a lot at times, but sometimes I think he enjoys being that character, if you will, at times. So he was a lot of fun to film with. He was.
Now we get to see all these, fun party games that are part of the challenges. You're always DJing at all the hottest parts. I'm going to ask you a Chicago question here in a second. But as far as like the games, which one were you the most excited that you're like, I got this, or I see this all the time?
You know what? I mean, right off the bat, we played a little life-size beer pong. That was right up my alley. And all my friends have been hearing about some of these games and what the show is in general. Like, man, you must have been like in your, in heaven. I was like, I kind of was. So it like you said, yeah, it's party competition. And like I said, both of those things are right up my alley. So I really enjoy myself.
We chatted before when you were in Chicago at 115 Bourbon Street. You've done gigs at Happy Camper Paradise Park. Any plans to come to the Chicagoland area to party with us this summer?
Yeah, so this summer, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it, but I'm thinking August all the way to the end of the year. Which August is still the summer in Chicago, right? So yeah. We should be all right. Yeah, so August, I'm going to come back to 115 Bourbon Street, I think. Place is phenomenal. I love that spot. In Chicago in general, I love that city.
Let's talk a little bit about the new Bachelorette. I mean, this is not one Bachelorette. We are getting two Bachelorettes. When they announced that, what did you think about that? And do you think that would have been easier or harder when you competed on your season?
Ooh, yeah. I think they've been wanting to kind of do a double Bachelorette season for a while. And I think everything just worked out so perfectly this time around. I think there are two well-deserving women, both Rachel and Gabby. So I think that's great. As far as me wanting to be on that, or me wanting to be on a double Bachelorette season, I don't think I would do well on a double Bachelorette season. I think that would be really, really hard. And I honestly, one of the reasons I'm so excited to tune in is because I don't know what they're going to do. It's so different. It's so unique. I don't know how they're going to produce it. I don't know how they're going to, have these women date all these men and not fight each other, right? Like, I can't believe there's not going to be drama between each other. So that's what I'm interested in seeing, if there's any drama between the two leads.
Oh, exactly. We'll have the month of July so that we can chat about it in August, but when you come back to Chicago,
yeah,
a little bit more. And the final thing here, you're DJing all across the nation. You're at Nashville. You're coming to Chicago in August. Lizzo's got a new track. Beyonce's got a new track. What are your summer jams here that you're playing this summer here?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because, I play a lot of house music and things like that in my sets. And both of these, Beyonce's got the new track and then Drake's got his new album. Both of them are pretty housey, if you will, is what you call it. So honestly, I love playing them at clubs and people really, really enjoy it. So right now, honestly, that Drake album, You can remix those into some really, really fun club house music. So I would say Drake right now is probably the hottest thing out there in clubs right now, for sure.
Awesome. Blake, thank you so much for your time today. All-Star Shore premiering Wednesday on Paramount Plus, and then check out his Instagram. He's always posting all the fun parties that he's at, and we'll see him here in Chicago in August.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.